To Kitchen Design Week, a webinar series hosted by Decor Cabinets, a manufacturer of custom cabinetry and showrooms across North America. Welcome to this session, Sell the Life, Not the Cabinet, presented by Marcos, our Director of Marketing at Decor Cabinets. In this webinar, you'll learn how to use the life-first questioning method in client conversations and how to create a project follow-up process that increases referrals and visibility for your showroom. Enjoy.
Hi, I'm glad you're here. Let's get right into it. When was the last time a client chose you, not because you had the best design, but because they trust you the most? The gap between talent and trust is real. But I have some good news. That problem is a marketing problem, and it's one of the easiest ones to fix. And we're here to do that today. Hi, my name is Marcos Gaubert. I'm the Director of Marketing here for Decor, and I have been working in the intersection between sales and marketing for the past 20 years. And I gotta tell you something. The designer that sells the most, that wins the most projects, normally are not the most talented ones in the room, are the ones that understand that trust must be visible. In the next 25 minutes, I want you to walk away with 4 things. 1, a new way to open client conversations. 2, a personal brand formula. 3, a positional system that attracts inbound customers to you. And 4, a system that turns every project into growth. Let's start with the foundation, because everything else builds up from here. Section 1, the identity shift. You may not realize yet, but you are a brand. You maybe haven't treated yourself like that, but that's it. You are a brand. Every single touch point you have with a potential customer is marketing. Not some of them, but all of them. Even in the consultation, the way you express yourself, the questions you ask, the way you answer your questions, that says a lot about you even before a quote has been discussed or a cabinet has been discussed. The follow-up. Most of the designers send quotes, but the best ones send point of view, explaining exactly what they understood from the conversation and how they're going to be solving those problems in the project. Something that we're going to be talking a little bit more ahead in this conversation today. Your Instagram grid. Instagram, it's not meant to be a portfolio. It's the first impression that happens before they even talk to you. A lot of researchers said that 65% of a sale is made before the client talks to you. Today, we have Google, we have Instagram, we have websites, we have all the internet, even AI can come up with some answers and suggest the best designers. If you are present in all those places, you are already talking to people before even then knowing who you are. How you describe your work in a dinner party. If your answer starts with, I design kitchens, you are already leaving trust on the table, because that says nothing about what you do and who do you solve problems to. Most designers do all of those things. The consultation, the follow-up, the Instagram, but the best ones, the ones that build a full pipeline of clients coming, ongoing, and always, are the ones that do those things intentionally. Your customers, that's something that you need to shift in your mindset. Your customers are not buying kitchens. They are buying confidence. They are buying the feeling someone gets them. They are buying a better version of their future life. I'm a little bit of a nerd, a little bit of a geek, so I brought a reference for us here today that has nothing to do with kitchens. So some of you have played games. I don't know if you like Mario. I used to love Mario. And here's a good lesson of how Mario can teach you marketing, right? A lot of people remember that little flower you used to get to be a bigger Mario, and then you could spill some fire and stuff like that. People are not buying this flower. People are buying the better version of themselves. That explains a lot. Another way, another example from the real world, that's, sorry guys, but that delivers, that kind of hints how old I am. In 2001, when Apple launched the iPod, they didn't say iPod, 64 gigabytes in your pocket. They said 1,000 songs in your pocket. Because those statements are saying, hey, we are here to solve your problem. We are here to make you better than before. So that being said, your customers are buying a better version of themselves. You're not a designer who occasionally markets. That's something that's important to keep in mind. You are a brand that happens to design kitchens. If you understand that and shift inverts the logic of this, you're gonna see more and more customers looking for you. Okay, the mindset's established here. We understand that we need to shift a little bit. We need to understand to be intentional in every single touch point we have with our customers. So now let's get to section 2, sell the life, not the cabinets. Here is the moment that we're gonna be reframing the conversations that we have with our customers. Okay, now that we established the mindset, we understand that we need to shift the way we ask questions. Now we get to section 2, sell the life, not the cabinets. Here is how we're gonna be reframing the conversations we have with all of our future clients from now on. Most of the conversations today, or on the average interaction between a designer and a customer, normally goes through those questions here, right? What's the style you're going for? What's your budget? Do you like shaker or flat panel? What's your timeline? Logical, practical, and completely forgettable. Every other designer in town is having the exact same conversation. So when you do that, you put yourself in a box, the commodity box. And whenever you are in that position, being compared with the other designers the same way, what's going to speak the most is the price. And that's one of the things we don't want to compete for. We don't want to compete for price. We want to compete for quality. We want to compete for how we solve clients' problems, but not into a commodity type of situation that where every cabinet is the same and only price will make a difference here. So here we have an example of 3 questions that change everything, that completely reverses the approach of actually asking the basic things. That obviously we're going to need to deal with those things later in the future, but a different approach to position yourself in a different way. Tell me how you live in this space. This builds emotional rapport instantly, surface the real brief, not just what they think they want, because that's another thing. Oftentimes we see customers coming to the shop asking for specific things that they have seen online or specific things they have seen on Pinterest. However, those are not the things that they actually need or they actually want. Those are beautiful things, sometimes not practical, and that's your job. That positioning yourself as a thinking partner, as someone that's here to consult, to solve issues, to help them to understand what exactly they need, to help them to achieve a better version of themselves, as we mentioned before. Question number 2, what's the one thing that drives you crazy about it? That's a frustration that has been living rent-free in their heads for months, maybe sometimes years, or every single time they sit in the kitchen to have a meal or to something like that, always have something that kind of triggers an emotion there. And the designer who names it and solves it would probably win this deal. So that's what we are trying to look for here. This is the real brief. This is what we want to understand. What are the things that we need to solve for this project to be successful? Which leads us to the question number 3. If we got this exactly right, what would be different about your life in here? That's the shift. Whenever you get all those things you ask in the first questions and you can compile them together and name it, now it's an emotional core of the project. Speak back to it and you become irreplaceable. If you understand, assimilate, and put in the project, then done deal. One of the things that's important to understand, emotion closes, logic justifies. If you need to take a moment to write this down, please go ahead and do it, because this is one of the most important things of this whole conversation today. Your client decides with feelings, but they rationalize the specs, the budget, the timeline. Those things are gonna, as I said before, are going to be discussed, but the decision was made already with the emotion. The designer who accesses the emotional layer first wins, even at the higher price. Because again, if we are not putting ourselves in the commodity box anymore, there's no way for them to compare. Because again, we are putting ourselves as the problem solvers, the consultants, the ones that are helping them to achieve something that's going to be better for them and their families. Now you know how to show up differently in the room. Now in the section number 3, we're going to be talking about strategies to make your clients, your customers, find you even before you are in the room. Most designers are invisible online, or visible, but indistinguishable. New project complete, beautiful photo, no story, no point of view, no reason to choose you over anyone else. That's portfolio. Portfolios don't create desire. Positioning does. So I'm going to introduce you now to a formula, a very simple formula that I like to use to create your positioning. And another thing, I want you to create your own. We're going to be working with that together. And I want you to use that over and over again. So the formula is in one sentence, very simple. I help specific clients or customers to create specific outcome without common frustration. The magic is in the specificity. Don't try to be generalized. Don't try to do something that every single designer does. If you put a statement that every other designer is going to be doing the same, again, you are putting you in the same box instead of differentiating yourself. So here's a good example. I help busy families create kitchens that actually works for real life without the 6-month renovation nightmare. Another good example here. I help design savvy homeowners create high-end custom kitchens without overpaying. Same formula, different customers, different fear. If your customer sees themselves in one of those positioning statements, they're going to be looking for you even before, again, you are in the room with them. Now, fill it in, even mentally. Who is your specific customer? What outcome do you actually deliver? And what frustrations do you eliminate? Yeah, go ahead. Do it now. Think a little bit. I'm just kidding. Hold this draft. We will come back later to it. However, don't let it pass. Make sure you do yours. Now, I'm going to touch on 3 non-negotiables for you to make this work. First, non-negotiable. I want you to put your clear position statement, the one that we just created now, or the one that you're going to create as soon as we finish this, put in your website header, in your Instagram bio, in your LinkedIn, everywhere. Even the way you introduce yourself in the dinner now, I want you to use this position statement. Another thing, if you need more than one sentence to be very clear on what you do, you need to redo it, okay? Second thing, consistent visual presence. You don't need to post every day, but you need to be consistent. At least once a month, once a week would be an ideal cadence for posting. However, one thing that's very important to notice here, a good quality post beats several bad quality ones. So if you say, Marcos, I'm going to start posting every single day, I would much rather recommend you to post once a week or twice a week with a higher quality. And by higher quality, I mean with a good storytelling, with good imagery, with the showing off and highlighting the qualities and things. Not only picture and no caption, or even before and after. Explain a little bit more. Put some more storytelling to that. Third one, one piece of expertise content per week. This is powerful. Instead of only posting something, what if we share something that you are learning now, or a trend you notice, or a decision you made and why, or a lesson from a difficult project, and explain it in a story manner, or even with you in front of the camera. Why not? Take the camera, record yourself. First ones are not going to be good. Everybody knows that, but keep going, keep persisting. If you want a challenge, I can give you a challenge. I want you to post 20 contents in the next 2 months, and with you in front of the camera, non-negotiable. You only stop when you do 20. Deal? Okay, and then we get to the last part of this presentation. Let's build a system. Now that we understand what we need to do, how to attract, how to position ourselves, how to start conversations, how can we leverage the work we have been doing already, the work that we have done in the past, to create a system that brings consistently more customers over and over again. Word of mouth is one of the ways that I see the majority of the designers bring more clients, which is not a problem, but is reactive. A referral system is the proactive way of creating that. Word of mouth, finish a project, hope they tell their friends, and wait for the best, hope for the best. A referral system, build the conditions for the recommendation to happen. That's the difference. It's pretty much the same way, but one has a strategy behind it, the other one is just a hope. 3 steps for us to build the system that's going to be bringing new customers consistently to you month over month. The first step, what I want you to create is the ask. Not a hint, Not a way of, okay, whenever I remember I'm going to ask, within 2 weeks of the project completion, I want you to talk to your customer and request that. Now here in your screen, you can see, I don't want you to do this. Hey, let me know if any of your friends need a kitchen. That's the old way. That's kind of trying to putting all the work on their hands instead of you being proactive with that. The way I want you to do it is like this. I'm going to read it. I'm going to be seeing the screen here because I don't want to mess it up because this is a script. I'm so glad you love how this turned out. Would you be willing to write 2 or 3 sentences about your experience? And if anyone in your circle is thinking about a renovation, I would love the introduction. Script it. Make it easy to say yes and do it over and over and over again. This is mandatory now. Every single person that comes to you and you finish a project, you gotta do something like this. Again, you are removing the barrier of them doing that for you and you are doing that for them. Another big thing here, the asset. Every completed project is a marketing asset for you. Most designers finish a project and just move on. Okay, next. However, if you spend some time creating content on that project, that can land more customers for the next 2, 3, 4 years. I'm going to give you an example, a real example from a designer that works with us here at Decor. She used to do something that I found was marvelous. So every time she finished a project, she used to write a complete blog post, a complete article explaining the project. This was the customer that he was dealing with. Those are the challenges they had. Those are the frustrations they had with the old kitchen. And here's the way that we solve those things. All the descriptions, all the pictures, make it beautiful. And then what she did was she used to send an email to the customer. Hey, customer, was a pleasure to work with you and your family. Was awesome. I was so happy with the project and the way things turned out that I decided to write an article about our project and our work together. Here it is. She said, on average, every single customer that she sent that used to send that article to 3, 4, 5 friends because they were proud of their kitchen as well. They want to show it. So, hey, look at this. Look at how cool my designer just did something. Same thing could happen in your Instagram if you create a portfolio of pictures there that you can share with people. Use that. Don't be shy. Create assets. Use those things to promote yourself. More than that, any piece of content you create for one media, for one platform, using the blog as an example here, your website, right? If you use that in your blog, you can break that down and create several different posts for social media. You can do what we call recycling content. You don't need to create content every single day, but you can use content, very high quality content, very valuable content, and recreate to show exactly what you have been doing. 3 things, just to summarize this whole thing that we just talked here. Professional photos, non-negotiable. Well, I'm going to cut you slack. If it's hard for you to find a good photographer, go online, go on Google, go on Claude, Gemini, AI, GPT, whatever. Ask them to create or a mini course or to teach you how to take good pictures. Phones nowadays are very powerful. You can take good pictures with your phone if you don't have a professional photographer close by. But take good pictures. Stage the space. Create some life in the room. Don't take pictures of a clean cabinet with nothing in it. The next thing is the 3-sentence project story. Who's the customer? What was the challenge? And what changed for them? And then with that, you create one social post, build out on the story. One afternoon, you can probably have a content for the next 2 or 3 years with that. And then the last thing. This is the last step for this referral system. In 90 days after the project closes, I want you to send a message. I want you to talk to your customer again to see how things are. It doesn't need to be anything complex. If you just send, hey name, I've been thinking about your kitchen. I hope you are loving it. We just finished a similar project and thought you might enjoy seeing it. And then you can send something to this person just to show what you have been working on, stuff like that, or even being top of mind. Again, those kind of touch points can help you be in their minds whenever someone talks about kitchens, right? Another way people sometimes like to do it, I personally love that, is to send messages in your customers' birthdays. If you know when is their birthdays, why not send a gift or a warm or something that can help them, or even just a quick message, hey, happy birthday, I hope you're enjoying your kitchen still, and stuff like that. Be present, be there, be in front of your customers. Sometimes you don't need to be a hard seller. Hey, do you have someone to refer? No, just be present. Again, 30 minutes per project can compound results over time. So if you do that for every single project, now imagine if you do 5, 6, 10, 15 kitchens a year, if you do that, 30 minutes per project, you can keep building your portfolio and helping your sales to grow and scale that in your business. Your action plan, 4 things in this order, non-negotiables. 1, change one question you ask in your next client meeting. You need to implement all the questions we talked here, but ask one of the questions. Choose one of the questions that you want to implement in your briefing conversation and do that. Write your position statement this week, put somewhere public. LinkedIn, Instagram bio, website, you name it. I would do it in every place. Another thing here that's very important, done beats perfect. So don't try to find the perfect one. Try to get a good one, put it out there. If you need to evolve over time, you keep doing, but don't let it pass. Get it done. Number 3, treat your next project as a content and referral asset. So again, use the formula we just talked about. Use that. Talk about, take pictures, create a story, share with people, and use that as an asset to bring more customers. And 4, set the 9-day check-ins as a non-negotiable in your workflow. So from now on, every single project we finish, in 90 days, you're gonna send a quick message, a reminder, something to be in front of your customer again. And to finish, the best kitchen designers don't find customers. Customers find them because they've made it impossible not to. Thank you so much for your time. Thanks for joining us in this whole Kitchen Design Week. I'm very glad to spend this time with you. And if you want to have access to the material we were just sharing today, please scan the QR code and you're going to be having the PDF to download of this. Thank you so much.
We hope you found this session helpful for your design business. And if you enjoyed this webinar, the Decor Cabinets Academy is a great next step for professional development. Be sure to join us for all the Kitchen Design Week webinars, including topics on finance, leadership, and sales. Thanks for joining us.